Warning.
The opinions expressed in this content are those of the host and its guests.
Services allow
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Things the fire service can't stand here. Safely created new account.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? My name is Isaac Poteet. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Tailboard podcast. Today's going to be a little bit different because we're going to break down 3 news articles. We're going to do more in the future, but for each of these videos circumstances, we're going to break down 3. We got 3 good ones for you today. Today, my co-host, I brought him back on. He was a guest on that you had seen on my podcast, Sheridan Rhine. Everybody say hi to Sheridan. Sheridan, say hi to everybody else.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
All right. He is from Lone Star Leatherhead. Do you mind saying what that is?
It's just our training cadre. It's still taking off, between wedding and everything else going on right now. It's kind of slowed, but it's our training cadre that we have that we're trying to put together. So y'all can also follow me on TikTok, capital Y-E-E-T, lowercase x, capital M-E-D-I-C. That's where I am most of the time now anyway.
Oh, yeah. He's taking off on the podcast circuit, getting interviewed by all kinds of people and getting connections and networking, which is great. And the guy's getting married in 4 days, guys.
Yeah. Woo! Thank God it's almost over.
So you guys are going to hear some music in the background. We will not play that music as we are playing the videos, but it's just some background music to, chill out. And we're going to play these videos. We're going to play this video, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. And then when we get to a point where we kind of just set our piece on it, we're going to move on to the next one. Without further ado, let's get into this.
Who's the vehicle needed across the runway?
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 1 and Company.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop. Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. 646. 646, I see you collide with vehicle in the pole position. I know you can't move.
Sadly, the 2 pilots are confirmed deceased, and notifications are being made by Air Canada's care team at this time. The vehicle was responding to another aircraft operated by United that had reported an issue with odor.
So, as you can tell, Truck 1 and Company request clearance to move across. Sheridan hasn't seen this video, but we're going to talk about it. And then behind this, I'm going to add another video that I found on TikTok that is from atc.com. And it'll kind of replay what you just heard, but it's going to go over a couple other different things. It's going to show you the air traffic controller talking to different aircraft, just how busy LaGuardia can be. And then you can hear him at the end. He's like, man, I tried to tell him to stop. He goes, it was too late. He goes, that's my bad. And, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. We don't know. I don't know. It's still under investigation, obviously, but we do know that Truck 1 and Company asked for clearance to go across the runway, and they did. At some point, something happened, and the plane went head-on to collision course with that fire truck. As of right now, the news tells us that we can go back to this real quick and look at the words down here. It says an Air Canada jet carrying more than 70 passengers collided with a fire truck while landing at New York's LaGuardia Airport late Sunday, killing the pilot and co-pilot, injuring several others. The fire truck was crossing the tarmac after being given permission to respond to another plane reporting an odor on board. Before the collision, an air traffic controller can be heard on airport communications frantically telling the fire truck to stop. In a transmission nearly 20 minutes later, the controller appears to blame himself. We were dealing with another emergency earlier. The controller said, I messed up. About 40 passengers and crew members on the regional jet were taken to the hospitals. Some serious injuries. Most were released by Monday morning, authorities said. The impact crushed the regional jet's nose, leaving cables and debris dangling and mangled cockpit. Images from the crash site show the damaged fire truck flipped onto its side. So you can see that right there. It hit what seems to be this area. Obviously, the crew was over here, so it's, makes sense how the crew didn't maybe they were injured, but they didn't die particularly in this accident.
That's crazy.
We'll come back to this one and look at it in a minute. Key question for investigators will be examining coordination of the airport's air traffic and ground traffic at the time of the crash. A former Department Transportation Inspector General, I don't know how many wake-up calls the Federal Aviation Administration needs, but this has been happening for years, and sadly, some of the most horrific air crashes in history happen on the ground at the airport. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't understand that there is a lot more accidents that happen on ground than in the air. The crash shut down LaGuardia all night, New York's region's third busiest hub, until at least Monday afternoon. During that was already a messy time in U.S. airports. Travelers have been facing long security lines due to government shutdowns and busy spring break travel seasons. Just some quick notes here. 72 passengers and 4 crew members. Air traffic controller tried to warn the vehicle, stop, truck one, stop. You can hear it in the transmission clearly. Now, why this is important to bring up and why I'm bringing Sheridan on this to talk about is there is a constant issue with communication on the fire.
Absolutely. Especially in it's constant miscommunication, especially constant communication issues like in like rural and city firefighting, let alone that type of environment. Now, I'm not an R fireman. I've never been an R fireman, but I can guarantee you that communication is a must when it comes to operating around that type of atmosphere. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now scroll back up to that video. I don't need you to play the video. I need you to just rewind it, and I want to see the plane where it's in the air. Not like that, but where it shows the side picture. All right, yeah, go back. Is that the fire truck?
No, that is the nose.
Oh
of the
my
aircraft
God!
crumpled down.
Holy crap!
So, me being in aviation, the crew would obviously, the 2 pilots would sit right in this area.
Yeah.
Right back here, which you can kind of see it. That's the galley area. And then so the flight attendants, if I had to guess, were there's
probably back here.
72 passengers. So there's 1 here and 1 here. 4 crew members. There's always 1 in the back and 1 up front. And then the 2 pilots. But it did. I mean, I would suppose it injured the stewardess right here, but did not. It killed the 2.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Trying to extricate that would be a logistical nightmare, even for an ARF company that has a lot of resources.
I mean, can I say that as bad as this looks, it could have been worse? I mean, this whole thing could have fucking blown up.
For sure. They could have, one of those wings would have hit the ground instead of the nose, and it could have pivoted that plane into a spiral. Like, not like a barrel roll, I guess, if you would, on the ground.
Well, from what my understanding is that the plane was wheels on the ground landing, like it was coming to a stop.
Yeah.
And it ran into the fire truck. It basically took out that gear and like crumpled the nose and like sent it up. Like.
Yeah. So they stopped like that. That's crazy.
I mean, there's the fire truck.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about, because I thought that was the fire truck underneath the plane, and then he showed me that picture, and I was like, oh, okay.
There you go.
That's nuts, dude. I don't even know. I don't have any experience ever operating on airways. The only time I ever went to an airport was to pick up patients from AirMed or drop off patients at AirMed, or whenever I flew, I would fly into airports, but like not
response.
Yeah, not regional airports like this, or have big airports. Oh yeah, dude, they had. That's crazy.
They closed down the entire airport.
How it didn't kill those firemen is beyond me. That's crazy to me.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's sad that the pilots lost their lives for sure.
For sure.
I mean, let's see. Air traffic controller tried to stop the vehicle. That's the thing. Air traffic control could have been like, "Hey, truck one stop." But like at that point, either the communication is not getting through. I mean, there could be multiple like on station issues. I mean,
well, they're also in a 40,000. Well, I don't know how much a ladder truck weighs. A lot. I mean, I don't know how much, but I mean, that's a heavy rig to just stop. You know, you can't just stop that truck. You know what I mean? And
And they're not going to call back and confirm stopping. You know, they're probably going to try to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time, and plus the delay between the communication between the radios and stuff, it may not be. I don't know. I'm not an air traffic controller. I actually have somebody who is an air traffic controller that I wish, if we were doing this story, I could have brought him with me because he is an air traffic controller.
I mean, if he's not busy, let me know and I'll email him and bring him up real quick, and we can always edit this part out.
Let me see. I texted him. I don't think he'll respond. He's probably working, honestly. But yeah, he's an air traffic controller in I think Tennessee or Missouri, one of the two.
But yeah, man, what do we think about this? I mean,
really, the communication was good in the beginning. Like, you know, you hear truck one ask for permission, he gives permission, cross runway 4 towards Delta or whatever they said, and then they repeated it back, and then he repeated it back again, and even they were like, okay, and then they said it one more time. So, you know, they train on this, but unfortunately, like you said, the air traffic controllers, you know, there's only a finite amount of them up there, and they're dealing with the entire airport. And I don't know how big LaGuardia is. I'm sure it's one of the bigger airports in Canada. But
LaGuardia is New York.
Oh, my bad. That's in New York. I thought it was in Canada for some reason.
No big deal.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. So this happened in New York. So I could understand, like,
okay.
Like,
so
there's just a lot going on.
I found this other video. I'm going to try to screen share it instead now.
Okay.
And see if I can show you a better view of this, because I was going to try to get it, you know, just add it in, but if I can just do this, it would be a lot easier. Okay, you see that?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
All right, here we go.
Across the runway.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 1 and Company.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Yeah, okay.
Here, 4195,
this is
stop
another
there, please.
aircraft that's taxiing, getting ready to go on.
Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Del 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jet 646. Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle there, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Is the runway closed?
Del 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Heading 2000, go around, Del 2603.
LaGuardia Tower.
Truck 2, runway 4 is closed, correct?
Yes, go on to runway 4 now. Proceed on runway 4, you have access.
Tower, Carnet 0, runway 422 is closed at this time.
90, roger.
LaGuardia Tower, vehicle 98.
98. Vehicle 98.
Vehicle 98, please show at this time. Runway 422 is closed. I repeat, runway 422 is closed at this time.
Tower, Carnet 0, LaGuardia Airport is closed at this time.
So 2603, runway 3000, go to approach 20.8 now.
3000, over.
This right here would be
South 3988, cross 13 Romeo left at Papa.
This is
South 3988, cross 13 Romeo left at Papa.
We'll cross 13 on Romeo left on Papa, Southwest,
He's trying to get him out of the
3988.
way.
2603, 20.8, they're looking for you.
Someone was coming in behind the Air Canada.
Tower, Carnet 0, to reiterate, LaGuardia Airport is closed at this time. No aircraft in or out.
Okay. Frontier 4195, you copy that? All right, there's an incident on the field. We're closed right now. Just stand by. South 3988, proceed Bravo Kilo for lane 8. JetBlue 1199. Call us back in 10 minutes. There's been an incident on the field. The airport's closed right now. Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want to prepare to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know. I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
And you did the best you could.
Hey, grounded there, 5393. Is the airport going to get closed? Do we need to stay put here or no?
5393, just remind me your position. I'm a little busy.
Okay, we'll hold our position, yes, sir.
No, remind me where you are.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We just pushed from gate Charlie 70, so we're in lane 1516 area.
All right, yeah, I was informed that the airport field's going to be closed for a while.
Okay, understood, thanks.
Sorry, it's going to be closed all night. Never mind. So plan on returning. If you can sort that out with your ramp.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
God bless.
So,
Man, you can feel how defeated that guy is, and that is just heartbreaking because you know that's not an easy job.
I mean, okay, let's break this down. How many aircraft are on the ground? At least
at
20,
least 20, yeah, 30 maybe.
He had what 10 different callbacks from Dallas, Southwest, JetBlue.
Yeah.
He had to make. So you saw at the beginning of the video, like this, LaGuardia is coming, or not LaGuardia, Air Canada's landing. He's right here coming through, and about right here is where this crash happens. Well, right behind him is already tiered up another plane getting ready to land, that Dallas plane.
Yeah.
And he's like,
wave off.
Not Dallas, but I can't remember who it was. He's like, hey, go around. So instead of continuing to go down to a landing path, he has to now pull back up, speed his engines back up, and go around. So now he's like, you see him like coming straight through here, but he's now going to 2,000 feet and trying to like avoid basically any other aircraft that are in the area. Then you have another aircraft over here in this area who's trying to taxi off. He's like, nope, go around. Okay, you're in between two different runways. Go back to the ramp. You have JetBlue, who I would think at this time, while they're like, JetBlue 1199, they probably just turned on their transponders and their radios, and they're probably just
so they didn't even know what's going on.
No fucking clue what's going on, and this guy's already rattled for the most part, and then all of a sudden you get him going, JetBlue 1199. He's like, call back in 10 minutes. We just had an issue. Some people might get a little off put about it. You're like, what the fuck? Like, I just called in,
For sure.
But he's got multiple people that he's dealing with at that moment. 20 on the ground, 3 that I could see that he's trying to redirect traffic, and 1 that he had to go turn around, 1 that's trying to kind of push off.
Yeah.
And, not only did he just have that crash, he's like sitting there having to tailor to all these other people as
he's
well.
He's trying to mitigate the situation at the same time, which, I mean, I could only imagine. I mean, being an aircraft controller, like, how do you continue your job after that? Like, how, like, I know you have to. It's kind of like us. Like, we have to do our job no matter what, but at the same time, like, that's hard. You could hear the defeat in his voice. That God be with that man, because he's going to be fighting demons for a long time because of this.
100%. And that's why they tell you, like, I've been in aviation now for 13 years, and they tell you in every job that you can do in aviation, air traffic control has the highest suicide rate.
For sure. Like, they're gonna have to really watch that dude, because in his mind, that's his fault. And I don't know the whole story to this. I only know what you told me. I didn't even know this happened until you told me. I just don't watch the news that much anymore. But that's very unfortunate that happened, and that's very unfortunate that this air traffic controller is probably going to have mental issues probably for the rest of his days. I don't know how you get through that.
Well, I found out about it because I'm part of a Discord called Medics After Dark, and it started when there was like 200 people. Now I think there's like 900 members now. But a lot about training medics and training EMTs and whatnot, people that are students trying to get their degree, or not degrees, they're NREMTs and shit. And, just a good group of people that Nightmare Medic runs it. But anyway, one of the guys posted and said, hey, we're working this right now. And he kind of gave a faraway picture and said, this just happened, working this out, and he was in the area. And I was like, when did that happen? And because the picture that he showed was like he was right there, like right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then moments later, I see news stories about it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you'll have to send me that Medics After Dark after this, the link.
Oh, 100%. Oh,
yeah.
Guys, that video was brought to you by the Flight Talk on TikTok. They're a bunch of good guys. They post videos. etc.com. I mean, you name it. You want to see air traffic control get squirrely with some pilots and tell them, I've got a number for you to copy when you're ready. Meaning, they just did something pretty bad, not listening, and they're about to get in trouble by FAA. But a lot of funny videos. This one was not funny. But yeah, that's what we deal with on a daily basis.
It's crazy how many of these incidents have come up in the recent times.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with internet.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't about internet and it was about newspapers, you'd see it 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's switch. We're about 20 minutes in, one video. We're going to switch gears and go into our next story. I think you might like this one. You might love or hate it, but we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So Nebraska 911 dispatchers turn to smartphone tools to pinpoint callers more quickly. What's your first initial thought on this?
I mean, this has always been a thing for, I mean, not always, but it's been more prevalent nowadays. I know for a fact, I can't tell you how many calls I run with someone left their phone on top of their car and they go driving off and then it's a crash detection alert and we're driving around looking for a crash at 4 in the morning and it's them just leaving for work and they left their phone on their car. But despite all the negative times about it, this definitely has its place. I have ran accidents who were called in as a crash alert on an iPhone, and I get there and there's a car rolled off into a ditch, and like the person's entrapped and unconscious, and it saved their life. So I mean, I've seen both sides of the playing field.
Well, guys, as I said before, this is brought to you by Fire Rescue One. They have knowledge where you can get basically career training, things like that. CEUs from certain types of medical stuff. I'm not sure exactly all what they do. I know I was part of it for a while, still am, for new stuff. We use Moodle now, but regardless.
Moodle.
Yeah, Moodle.
I haven't heard of Moodle in a long time.
Right. Let's get into this. This story is by Jeff Bayer, Grand Island Independent News. He says smartphones have made it easier for 911 dispatchers to determine the location of callers. Even if people aren't sure of their location, the phone tells dispatchers where to send first responders, even if it's in the general area. The dispatchers use a couple of programs that provide locations for firefighters, medical personnel, and law enforcement. One is called Rapid SOS. Do you have any familiarity with that one?
Yeah, so it's built into, I believe my iPhone has a Rapid SOS where if I hit my volume button, if I hold one of my volume buttons and my lock button for like, I think 3 or 5 seconds, my phone will emit a flashlight, like a SOS flashlight. It'll make a loud beeping noise, and I believe if it plays for a certain time, it'll auto-dial 911 for me.
My Samsung does that too, so I think maybe it's not just a...
Yeah, I think it's everything now. I think if you are buying a new smartphone, it has it, which is great.
I think mine's if you push the power button like 5 times repeatedly over.
Yeah, I did that by accident one time when I had a Samsung and a cop showed up to my door.
Let's see. How often dispatchers rely on smartphones? In quotes, they said, as long as our programs are functioning properly, it's almost 100% of the time. I'm not going to say that name and butcher it. One of the dispatchers at Hall County, Grand Island 911 Communications and Emergency Management. What helps pinpoint the location even further in our app called What 3 Words, which I don't know what program that is. The people behind What 3 Words have divided the word into 3 meter squares. Divided the world into 3 meter squares, each of which are identified by a combination of 3 words. These combinations might seem random, like sinkhole, primal, and agency, but they can take emergency responders to the precise location. With What 3 Words, I can even tell you that they're parked on the 3rd parking spot from the North Taco Bell.
That's crazy. Technology's going wild, man.
Let's see. The 3 words can tell responders where in an apartment building they're needed. What 3 Words is especially helpful for larger gatherings such as big events at Fauner Park. If a person is having medical issues, responders can just click the link to call, and it'll take them right to where the patient is. Even if smartphones are working, the dispatchers still confirm the location with the caller. Okay, that makes sense. So like, hey, you did this thing with this thing, but I need to make sure to confirm it's where you say you are.
Yeah, just in case it's pinging off a different tower or something, I would assume. That is crazy. Now, if you have this plus a really good CAD system,
yeah,
you would have a lot less response errors, a lot less time delays on response if you could actually get this figured out.
Yeah, I mean, I still think someone calling and saying that something is worse than it really is, and you get there and it's not as bad as they say it was, because they want a faster response.
No, I agree. I'm talking about like if it's like, say if a car drives off a road, the guy's rendered unconscious, and you have a unit responding, and the dispatch has this plus a really good CAD system where they can track real life, like live feed where that ambulance is. You can correlate those two together and get that ambulance to the exact location instead of driving around for 45 minutes trying to locate a car that's off in a ravine somewhere and you can't see it because you're on an embankment driving on the highway.
Just
So
scrolling through, looking through this.
it's very cool. It's a very cool concept, especially for like if you're in a domestic violence, and this is me taking my firefighter hat off, putting my cop hat on. But if you're in a domestic violence situation and you can't say anything, you can text help to 911 and they can ping your phone without anybody knowing. Like that would really help.
Oh yeah, I think that is a thing, isn't it?
It is a thing. Text 911 is a thing, but I don't know where I'm from in Texas. We do not have we have some of this technology, but we don't have. I don't know if they've got the 3 words thing. I've never heard of that before. So
It
I
sounds
know.
like what 3 words would be better than rapid SOS.
Yeah, I agree. I've never heard of that before, but it's pretty interesting to see that.
Before we keep rolling, I want to give a quick shout out to IndusShift Apparel, their first responder owned brand that actually understands the culture, the long nights, the dark humor, and the pride that comes with the job. If you want gear that represents the fire and EMS mindset without being corny, check them out. You can find the link through my channels, and every purchase helps support creators and conversations just like this one. All right, let's get back to the episode. Thanks, guys, for your support.
So, I mean, it seems like we kind of agree it'd be cool, but it's just, it's got to be something that makes sense,
Yeah, we need to hold people accountable for falsifying 911 calls and making them worse than what they are, and then this would be golden.
100%. All right, guys, moving on to our third and final news article of the day, and then if you guys like this week some good response, we'll come back and do some more of these. Unfortunately, here in my home state, Oklahoma, Sheridan's out in Texas, and this is just south of Oklahoma City, McLean County, which is Goldsby, Oklahoma. We're going to watch this, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards.
Thank you for being here at noon. We begin at noon with an update on tragic breaking news we've been following throughout the morning. 2 firefighters killed while heading to a fire. 62-year-old Todd Pendleton and 63-year-old Brian Jenkins were longtime firefighters. They died in a crash just after 3 this morning in Goldsby. News 4's Dylan Brown is at the Goldsby Fire Department and now joins us live.
1 second. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. I'm not hearing it through my headphones, so I'm not sure it's playing. Just trying to make sure.
Yeah, it's playing for me.
Okay.
Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, these are firefighters in Oklahoma. We know how much they mean to the community, and this community is devastated after the news, obviously. This is off 74. The Goldsby Fire Department is behind me right now. I show you this because family, friends, loved ones, the community has been coming in and out of the fire department, just showing love, praying for them, thinking about them. The fire chief's son, Brian Jenkins, was one of the ones killed. These were veteran firefighters working a decade or longer fighting fires. But here they are again, Todd Pendleton, 12-year veteran, and Brian Jenkins, also a 35-year veteran. Wow. Jenkins working in Cleveland County also as the fairgrounds manager since 1987. It was around 3 this morning. Officials say they were headed to a structure fire. At some point, they ended up crashing. We're told they were the only ones in the vehicle at the time, both dying shortly after. Now, McLean County Sheriff's Office is really coming in and trying to help them out right now, saying this.
Goes through this, it's very devastating. The fire service itself is a close-knit community. You bring it in as a volunteer fire agency, it's even more close-knit. These are family members, these are friends, these are neighbors.
Yes, they are. Cleveland County also coming out with a statement saying this was such a tragic loss as well, that they're thinking and praying for everyone who knew, not just Jenkins, but Pendleton as well. I'm here off 74 where McLean County Sheriff's Office told me they're going to have a procession around 1 in less than an hour. And I tell you this because they're asking as many folks as possible to come out here and show support for the 2 firefighters. We're told they're going to be headed straight through down 74 just around 1 o'clock. We'll be out here all day long. It's a tragic crush for this area and for many other people that knew the two gentlemen, though. Live in Goldsby, Dylan Brown, Oklahoma's News 4.
After all that service, I'm sure so many people knew then, Dylan. Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about it. You know, you have a 12-year and a 35-year guy, and I'm almost positive they've driven trucks before.
Absolutely. 3 in the morning, volunteer fire department. You know, you're asleep, you get woke up by a pager, structure fire, you're getting your stuff on, you're getting out to the truck, you're boogieing out. You know, a lot of things could have happened. It could have been fatigue, it could have been a medical emergency. They're both older gentlemen. I'm not talking ill about them, but they could have easily had a medical emergency, driven off the roadway. They could have, anything could have happened. Deer ran out in the road, so anything. And until the investigation is concluded of why this happened, you know, there's nothing really I could speak about that. But just driving fire trucks in general, especially, I think that's a tender that they wrecked. What appeared to
pictures here in a second.
Yeah, what appeared to be a tender. Those are heavy.
64 and 62 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, it could have been a medical emergency. It could have been anything. But having a tender of that size and running hot down a road, no matter any time of day, is very dangerous because of how much water and how much weight you're hauling behind that thing. Especially, it looked like a modern day tender, so it looked like it was baffled. But some people still drive around with no baffles in their tanks, and that's even more dangerous because that water just has free range to. If you hit the brakes, that water's going to slosh. If you speed up, that water's going to slosh, and if you turn, it's really going to slosh. So,
according to Lieutenant Mark Southall, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, in the initial investigation, the fire truck was headed eastbound on Red Bed Road, departed the roadway to the right, moved back into the roadway, and departed to the left where it struck a tree.
Yeah, so could have been anything. They could have just been getting there. And that's what a lot, and I must preach this to young firemen and even old firemen, volunteer and paid. I understand getting to a job quickly, but I'd rather you get there safely than not get there at all, because hauling ass down these county roads or these small roads, you know, anything can happen. Blowouts happen, especially volunteer fire departments where, you know, yeah, you do maintenance Mondays is what we call them, but you know, you don't. I mean, are you really checking the tires like a discount tire professional would, or like a fleet mechanic would? Like, you don't know. You could have a blowout. You know, you don't check the air pressures, or maybe that's just the tire was compromised on the last call and you can't see it because it's on the inside of the wall, on the inside wall. You know, there's just so many things.
What a dually tire system for a tanker like that?
Do what now?
I'm sure it had a dually tire system in the back.
Yeah. It had duals on the back. I saw it. That's you know, it's just, I'm not armchair quarterbacking with that at all. Like, anything could have happened.
Should we? But at the same time, you know, these are things that need to be talked about. Because,
absolutely.
You know, I mean, you got to think about, like, there was a 12-year and a 35-year veteran, and you know for a fact they've driven trucks before. I mean, I don't know anybody. I mean, I don't know anybody who's gone 12, 35 years without driving a truck.
No, for sure. They must. Yeah, they have to drive trucks. But it's just, I don't know anything about the fire department to know what kind of training they have, if they do a EVOC course, or if they even have like I know in Texas, in order to drive a fire truck, in an emergency scene, you can drive a fire truck to the scene without your Class B driver's license, but you cannot return because you need a Class B driver. But even then, I still think that that's crazy, because when do we see the most wrecks?
When you're returning and not having an emergency.
No, I see it whenever you're responding to calls.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Sorry.
Because you're whiskey throttling it, you're trying to get there as fast as possible. You want to be the first one to the fire, or you want to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you're driving, 60 miles an hour down a county road, and next thing you know, bam. I had a really good fireman who he was my driver, and I left my fire department by then, the one that I was at the time, to go other places, but he was driving, and they were in the middle of grass fire season, and they had a bunch of sunscreen and water bottles and stuff inside the truck. Well, a sunscreen bottle fell off the center console and rolled underneath the brake pedal, and he was coming up to a turn. He was going about 45 miles an hour, and he hit the brake, and that sunscreen bottle wouldn't let him hit the brake all the way. and he wound up driving off the roadway and wrecking that tanker truck into some trees. Thankfully, he was fine. Like, he didn't hurt himself, but I mean, it just goes to show anything can happen. And like it's just, we have to be more careful and more just vigilant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Very true. You know, we're both of us are not speaking ill on the dead here. We're not speaking ill in the fire department. I mean, they suffered a tragic loss. You know, this is not if anybody from the Goldsby or anybody I know happens to see this video, and you know, we're not talking shit. This is just, these are things that can be talked about. This podcast is meant for the guys coming up and wanting to be firefighters or brand new firefighters, trying to make sure to learn something. Because my whole goal for this podcast was to help people not be where I was at, or when I joined on the fire system, I knew absolutely nothing.
Same.
I'm trying to give these guys, whoever wants to listen, old, new, young, future, maybe somebody just wants to be a supporter of the fire department but just wants to know more. You know, I want to give you valued information, but you know, you need to know that, hey, these are just our opinions. They're not the opinions of our departments. They're not an opinion of anything other than ourselves.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show, like, this happens daily. Like, there's fleet accidents in the fire service daily, and you see them all over the news, you know. And it's just, it's not speaking ill of the dead at all. It's just, this is a training opportunity, and unfortunately, how do I put this? It's unfortunately at the cost of someone's life, but we have to preach on this so we can mitigate this from happening more.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Do we want to do one more, or you want to keep it at 3?
No, we could do one more. What else we got?
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let's just look at what we got here, because I don't know what else is available. Let's go take a look.
Apparently, putting an onion on your foot helps with something.
Supposedly. Let's see. Back up. Okay. So let's share this screen, and then we'll just pick one from this. Share. Come on now, damn it. I swear I'm not dumb. All right.
Hang on, my department's going to a call, I think. I'm just listening. I heard sirens. No, you're good. I'm not working for them today. They have my phone number. They'll call me if it's a oopsie whoopsie and they need me to go grab the tanker or tender, whatever we call it now. Or some people call it tanker, some people call it tender.
Well, let's go to floor collapse. About that.
The wedding venue one? Yeah, we can do that one.
That seems like just we can talk about grants all day long, but
I have no patience for grants.
And it's a video.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
About 4:30 today, Tamworth Fire received 911 calls, or 911 calls were placed for a floor collapse at a wedding venue here behind us. There was a report there were about 150 people that were in the building, and the floor had collapsed and multiple people were trapped. Right now, 6 patients got transported. One was flown by medical helicopter to Maine Medical Center. The other patients were transported to local area hospitals. The initial report of people trapped, and the fire department was able to get everybody out. Evaluated everybody that needed to be evaluated, and the state fire marshal's office was called to assist with the investigation. It was probably about 8 foot. Yeah, about 8 feet. We'll know more as we get, more into the details of it.
So,
They fit 150 people into that space. That is crazy.
Probably why the floor collapsed.
Yeah, no shit. Why, bro? I would have a claustrophobic meltdown, dude. I would be not well inside that place.
And just so people understanding, I'm not laughing at the injured. I'm just, that. Look at this space. Look at the space, guys. I mean, how?
Like, I couldn't fit 40 people in there and be comfortable, let alone 150. Plus weddings. You have soundboards and food, and that's crazy.
2,800 people is about 115 miles of the town, Concord, New Hampshire. Western border of Maine. Talking about how they're trying to get a hold of the people responsible or whatever, and nobody's answering to give them any questions or answers.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. That's
Fire
crazy.
Marshal Office said that while more than 100 people gathered in a building called the Sap House at the venue, the floor buckled, creating a 20-foot by 20-foot opening, sending about 70 people into the basement.
Holy crap. Could you imagine being dogpiled on by 20 or by 70 people falling 8 feet?
Several people were trapped by the falling beams and by farm equipment.
How many people died?
Nobody died.
Oh, it's just injuries?
Yep. 6 people were taken to area life hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries.
That's it? That's crazy. That is nuts. I would think that could have easily been, I mean, obviously it was an MCI. It was a mass casualty incident.
Mm-hmm.
But that could have well been like multiple fatalities, especially if people are landing on top of people, hitting their heads on tractors and beams and stuff.
This isn't necessary, but can you imagine being called in to work? Like, hey, we're not going to have you do anything cool, but we need you to go talk to witnesses.
That would be wild.
Not that it's not 100, but come on.
145 people present at this event. That's crazy. There's no way 145 people were in that building at the same time. There's no way.
Probably not at the same time.
Yeah, there's probably a lot outside. Like, it was probably an outside wedding, and they were just gathering in there to grab, I don't know, food or I don't know. That's crazy.
Let's see. No fatalities.
I know one thing. I don't know where the occupancy placard was for that. If it was in the city, or it doesn't look like it was in the city. But look at it, dude. It's an old barn.
Yeah. And look at that. There's a tractor like right here.
Yeah, dude. Could you imagine just fucking falling and landing on a John Deere? Like, that's crazy.
Make a good country song.
Yeah. Someone better write a song about this one. That's nuts.
I met my love after falling through a floor, landing on a John Deere tractor.
Yeah, she landed on top of me or something. That's nuts.
Damn.
Yeah, that is wild.
So, guys, as we go, we're going to get more in depth on these things. We're going to talk about things, get more involved and whatnot. But we just covered 5 stories, technically. I mean, we did technically go over the separation, but that's for another time. We'll get into it. I mean, if you guys have any information on either of the stories posted, you can comment below, or comment through your Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, wherever. Let me know. If you want to come on the show and talk about certain news stories, let us know. Sheridan, thank you for coming on, man. I know you're busy. I know you got some shit going on.
It's no big deal. I'm happy to be here. Happy to do it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, guys, thanks for another episode of Tales from the Tubboard. Today was not an interview, but we went over some cool news stories. Just trying to, figure the world out, try to be more knowledgeable. You learn from incidences that have happened before, not just your own, but from other states, other places around the world. So as news stories keep happening, we will review them and, give you the best of the best.
Yep. All right. Well, see y'all later. Thank y'all for watching.
All right, guys. Remember, world's dangerous out there. Be safe. And if you're not, we'll see you soon.
Dispatch, medic 1, show medic 1 en route.